Good morning, Paul here, down by the lake, Macquarie, at Belmont. And today we're continuing our look at some Old Testament stories, facts and information, and we're looking at the book of Ezra, which is about the return of the exiles and the building of the temple again in Jerusalem. But first of all, we need to look at the last few verses in 2 Chronicles 36 from verse 22. In the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, in order to fulfill the word of the Lord spoken by Jeremiah, the Lord moved the heart of Cyrus, king of Persia, to make a proclamation throughout his realm and also to put it in writing. This is what Cyrus, the king of Persia, says. The Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has appointed me to build a temple for him at Jerusalem in Judah. Any of his people among you may go up, and may the Lord their God be with them. So that's recorded in 2 Chronicles. But another interesting prophecy was recorded 223 years before Cyrus was even born. And it was Isaiah. In Isaiah 44, verse 24, Isaiah says this: Cyrus is my shepherd, and will accomplish all that I please, and he will say, let it be rebuilt, and of the temple let its foundations be laid. So here is a prophet, Isaiah, mentioning Cyrus by name. Now, if you ever wondered about prophecies from the Lord, this is one that is amazing. Here's Isaiah saying Cyrus is going to rebuild the temple. Then in Jeremiah, before the exiles return from Babylon, he sends a letter to them, which he says, I will bring you back to Jerusalem after you've been in captivity 70 years. So God has a plan, and he's got it all written down, and some of his people know all about it. So as we read the book of Ezra, we're starting just the first few verses. And here's King Cyrus starting work. Cyrus helps the exiles return. In the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, in order to fulfill the word of the Lord spoken by Jeremiah, the Lord moved the heart of Cyrus, king of Persia, to make a proclamation throughout his realm and also to put it in writing. And this is what Cyrus, the king of Persia, says. The Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he's appointed me to build a temple for him at Jerusalem in Judah. Any of his people among you may go up to Jerusalem in Judah and build the temple of the Lord, the God of Israel, the God who is in Jerusalem, and may their God be with them. And in any locality where survivors may now be living, the people are to provide them with silver and gold, with goods and livestock, and with freewill offerings for the temple of God in Jerusalem. So here's the king proclaiming anyone who has been a captive or their parents were a captive, they're free to go back to Jerusalem. And not only that, you can ask your neighbours for an offering to help build the temple back again in Jerusalem. Amazing stuff. Now we've been to the temple in Jerusalem, well, what remains of it, to the Western Wall, where you can actually go down in a walkway down deep down into the foundations. And there are rocks there that are as big as our caravan. They're just huge. And some devout Jewish people go down there and sit on their chairs, take their chairs with them, sit on their chairs and pray as close as they could be to where the Holy of Holies used to be. Of course, the temple's been destroyed, and now the Muslims have one of their temples on the Temple Mount. But the old foundation stones are still there, and they are just amazing size. They're as big as your car, and you can imagine how many horses and chariots and men were needed to carve those foundation stones for the old temple and to put them into position. They're fascinating stuff. It would have taken them a lot of money and a lot of time to rebuild the temple, but they did it. And Cyrus, the king of Persia, was their great encourager of the day. So that's our little meditation this morning. You need to get into the Word yourself, learn a little bit about the history and see the wonders of God right through the Scriptures. It's a wonderful thing to do. Get into it on a daily basis and let it get into you. Then go and tell someone else about it. We'll see you later. Have a great day.